And it's fitting we're here in Rockford because today's story from the sidewalk is all about the city's history. And I sat down with the president of the Historical Society to learn all about it. Well, here we are in Rockford setting up our stories from the sidewalk. It is a city that I have not stepped foot in until today. So I have a lot to learn about this little town. And luckily, I'm sitting next to a man who knows a thing or two about Rockford. Why don't you introduce yourself?
Okay, I'm Terry Conkle, and I'm the president of the Rockford Area Historical Society and also a member of the City Council.
You grew up in Grand Rapids, but you moved here in 1960.
Right.
And you haven't left since.
Right.
What is it about Rockford that's so special to you?
When we came here in 1960, we came because I had a teaching position and a coaching position. I taught and coached here for a long time, and the people here are wonderful people who really care about this town.
What was Rockford like when you first got here? What's the same? What's different?
One of the reasons why Rockford is such a special place is, and where people like to come to, is because of our school system. The area is a lot bigger than it used to be. Places where we used to take our kids to slide or camp or so on are now housing developments. The other thing about Rockford that I would be sure to mention is that we have a lot of special people over the years that have done a lot here. One of our projects at the museum is a thing called Ram Memories, where we bring in people and we talk to them for about half hour, 45 minutes, and they tell us about when they were growing up here and what happened with them, and it gives us a history record.
Anything that stood out to you about their stories that has stuck in your mind?
We interviewed one lady who was telling us that she had the lead in the senior play. I said, well, what'd you sing? And she spouted right off about 3 lines of that, whatever the song was back then. She remembered it. I first met her because I do a lot with Rockford athletic history, high school athletic history, and her husband was an athlete back in the 30s. And I think it's so important in history that you try to keep a record, and you want to keep a record with the people who've been here a while.
Yeah, and their story lives on even after they're no longer with us. I think that's really awesome.
Yeah.
But I want to dive into the athletics for a second, because the school mascot is the Rams. It's the nickname of your museum as well. I've never seen a Ram in this area. Where did that mascot nickname come from?
We started competitive athletics back around 1910 or 11.
Okay.
Never had a nickname. We were always the orange and black, which was our colors, but no name. About 1938, the kids decided they wanted a nickname, and they looked through a bunch of sport magazines on colleges and so on, and they liked the nickname Rams. And so they told the principal they wanted Rams, and the principal said, you can't just dictate Rams. We have to have an election, so you got to pick another name, and the kids will vote. So the varsity club picked a second name, Roosters. So we voted.
How intimidating, a rooster, the Rockford Roosters.
I think there was a reason they picked Roosters.
Yeah.
So they had a vote, and it was overwhelming that we become the Rams. And we've been the Rams ever since.
Can you walk us through how Rockford even came to be in the first place?
It began because a man by the name of Smith Lapham came here back in the 1840s, and he wanted to put in a sawmill. As people started coming here, the town became Laphamville after his name. And it was Laphamville up until about the Civil War time. The railroad was coming here. They contacted the Rockford City and said, we want to go through Rockford, but you'll have to change your name, it's too long.
How did they settle on Rockford?
Yeah, there's a couple things. Some guy that came here was a man from Rockford, Illinois.
Wow, how original. He just stuck with the same name.
Yeah, he took his town that he came from.
Yeah.
I don't think that was it, but at the end of the street out here, people used to cross it all the time, walking on rocks and stuff, and they called it Rocky Ford.
Okay.
So I think Rockford may have
together.
come from that.
What are you most proud of that you've been able to do and help the city with all the different positions that you've held here?
I always try to treat people fairly. I don't pay any attention to what they look like or what I've heard about them. I had a person one time tell me, you're going to have my brother in class next fall. Beware, because he's a real problem. Well, I try to just forget that.
Let's give him a chance.
Give them a chance, and most of the time it's worked out fine. I am a people person. I like to talk to people. I love to study Rockford history, and I love to give programs on Rockford history. My wife and I and my children all lived here, and we all took part as much as we could to try to make things work.
I think it's safe to say you have left your mark on the city of Rockford by now.
I just appreciate the town and appreciate the people in it.
And it sounds like they appreciate you back.
I hope so.
I'm so happy that you are a talker and a people person, because that's exactly what we like here on the show. Very nice to meet you.
Nice
Thank
to
you
see
so
you,
much.
yeah.
And let's add to the history of Rockford by taking a little selfie together.
Oh,
Yeah? Beautiful.
good.